Some crazy news out of the AI world today. Grok 4.6 landing super high on the artificial analysis agentic index after a recent retest. We also have Mythos 2 now fully trained, but Anthropic has no plans to release it publicly. Want to chat a little bit about that, along with Sam Altman's prediction saying that ChatGPT could have perfect context of your whole life within 6 months. Jack, probably the spiciest tick today is the Mythos 2 being fully trained, so I figured we'd start with that. What are your thoughts on Anthropic finishing training Mythos 2, but keeping it internal and not releasing it to us permanent underclassmen?
Well, as part of the permanent underclass online, since we don't have access to, we didn't even get access to Mythos 1. Now we're already on Mythos 2, Nick. I mean, give us a second to catch up. This is really big news because Mythos was the model that was heralded to be so powerful, so dangerous that even if you said its name 3 times, there would be the collapse of the Western world security as we know it. So Mythos 1 was ring fence. We had to kneecap it, take it around the side of the bike shed, beat it up, and we got Fable. That's essentially how we ended up with the most powerful model today. A handicapped, lesser version of the most powerful model. Now we're hearing Anthropic say, not only do we have that model, we've got Mythos 2. So who knows what this model is doing behind the scenes? Once again, they've kept it internal. We haven't even had Mythos 1 yet. So I'd say, dude, let's get our house in order. Let's get Mythos 1 in the hands of the people. And then let's see what this Mythos 2 is capable of. The first question in my mind, Nick, is what can Mythos 2 do that Mythos 1 can't? What is the capability jump here? What are we looking at?
Well, that's not a bad question. At this point, what would AGI need to do to convince us that we don't already have it? Like, what different functionality would we need to see before we're like, oh yeah, that's AGI. This wasn't AGI. That was like fabricating matter from a thought, nano machines. I don't know. Part of me feels like we're already well past that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they've not released any internal benchmarks either, which is interesting.
Now this guy, Jordan Nanos of Semi-Analysis, says open models only caught up artificially to the frontier, which we're seeing now across graphs like this, which we'll cover in a moment, because the US government is holding the best frontier models back. And this isn't just Anthropic doing this with Mythos 2, to be clear. What about Astra? Astra was supposed to drop by now, right? But they couldn't because of various fears around cybersecurity and alignment and so on and so forth. So yeah, I could see it. I could see it. You know, I feel like we were just a couple months out of the frontier until we hit like Mythos 1, Mythos 2 level models. And now that frontier gap is actually, despite seeming like it's closed, is actually widening because most of the capabilities are now internal.
That's such a good point, Nixter, because when you really get down to it, actually, have we artificially limited what the frontier actually is? Therefore, they're not that close. But again, I mean, I think one of the reasons why Mythos 1 caused so much of a stir, and I'm speaking 95% about myself here, how much of a stir I got in about it, was because it was dangled. And the same thing was Fable. We were given Fable, and then no more Fable. And I think they kind of realized, okay, whatever we do, we can't do that again. Like, if we're going to release it, it's out. We can't be this little bait and switch, this little, let me get you hooked on grandma's cupcakes. And then we're taking the recipe away. You can't have them anymore. So they've got to be consistent with what they're doing. The question really is to what extent is OpenAI and is Anthropic in cahoots with the US government in terms of these model capabilities, actually, and are they working hand in glove with their departments for security? That's one question we have to think about is the US government in and around these models? They could potentially already have captured these businesses. Like, if we're being completely honest for a second, that is a possibility. And then they just basically silence everybody. What
do you think? What do you think that looks like? Like, are there secret agents with the little earbuds that kind of hold them and go like, sir, they're about to release whatever. And then, you know, Donald Trump is like, shut it down. Like, how does that actually work? Or have they embedded just staff members from the US government? Or have they reached out to Anthropic staff members and sort of formed mini alliances with them, like, you know, old school CIA spy days?
Well, it's a good question. Like, I'm not like an preeminent expert in US intelligence operations, but let me armchair it for a second. Because if the US were to believe that it is of catastrophic importance, catastrophic significance that we have this technology and we're our adversaries to get hold of this technology, we as a nation would be severely compromised. I don't think there's anything they wouldn't do, to be honest with you. We saw with the NSA and the whole Simpsons thing about them listening to your calls and stuff like that. Like you're ordering a pizza and some guys listening in a van like two blocks away. Who know what would they do for the world's most powerful technology on the planet? You see what I'm saying? So I think the probable push for transparency means we'll engage with you, but in a particular kind of forum. I'm just making the point here is that we don't really know what is and is not happening around the scenes. We already know that this administration, the states, is very AI focused. They recognize the value of it. They wanted to bring Anthropic into drones, into there were surveillance conversations. There was so much they really wanted to do with the AI. If they're now being told, well, the AI that we showed you is kind of like Dumbo, now we've got Einstein, their interest is not going to go through the roof, right? So they're going to keep a very strong pulse on what the frontier models are. Of course, it's 100% in their best interest. And secondary to that, it's what can we actually let the people have above and beyond it? So I think there's probably a lot of very spicy conversations going on behind the scenes with these models. Because if there weren't, I think we'd be getting them, to be fair. So even though we're having a model release Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and also twice on Sundays, we're now also not having the best models being released.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to tune out when it's like the new XYZ 29 bill model has been dropped. I say, how does that actually meaningfully change the frontier for me? I already have a lot of cheap competition. And this is happening in more or less all markets where AI is both enabled and then encourage the commoditization of it. Have you seen Oppenheimer?
Exactly. Which one, bro?
Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, yes.
Yes. So I think about this a lot, like the Manhattan Project. I mean, they probably have embedded agents, people that are loyal to the US government across the stack. But also, I think there's a lot that's happening that they just cannot have full visibility into because they just lack the experience. They lack like the deep understanding of how exactly these models work. And so I think it'll be one of those situations where all this will occur. And then a few years later, the Oppenheimer trials will begin, if that makes sense, right? Like they'll try to do their full regulation sort of after the fact.
Well, if you were a Chinese asset, like you probably would want some footprint in these companies, wouldn't you? No, you would do, and vice versa for sure. You'd want to know what's going on because it's like it's potentially as dangerous as, I mean, if we're being serious, in a certain number of years, it will have humanity-ending capabilities. But and that's not an exaggeration. It could bioengineer weapons once it reaches, if we all do believe it reaches a point where it's artificial general intelligence. If it is not aligned, it could have humanity-ending capabilities vis-a-vis on parallel with nuclear programs. And if you consider it in that vein, how seriously we take that and international intelligence, I can see that it's going to heat up. So we talk a lot about the East versus the West, but I really think that that's going to be spicy. But mainly we look at it from Nick and I with our businesses, like how does this move the average person forward, the superstars forward? And there's a lot of exciting stuff to be aware of. And I think if I put my consumer hat on, which is this hat right here, give me Mythos too, Nick. I need it yesterday. And I don't mind paying a little more for it. If he wants to kind of justify some of these IPO rates, Nick, I'm happy to help. So just give me the access.
Get as many cute Chinese goddamn operatives in there as possible. Distill the hell out of it and give it to the people.
Yeah, you got to put the chicks in, right? Because they can start to work the room a little bit with the dudes.
That's what they're
working long hours, Nick. They're not socializing. They're not dating.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a cute Chinese colleague that's arrived, and she's taken an interest, and I'll reveal very, very.
I'll reveal everything.
Secrets.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny how much of like national security is distillable in and of itself over a little dinner conversation with some cute foreign operative.
some pad thai, Nick. Maybe a couple of gin and tonics. I don't know. Who knows what happens?
Hey, what's going on with Grok? What do we got here?
Grok is on a rampage, is what Grok is. Yeah. So another benchmark with colored bars, showing you how cool Grok is.
Bars.
Yeah, it's doing really well. So this is the Artificial Analysis Agentic Index. So for those who can't see the graph, it basically measures performance in agentic workflows. In other words, the kind of workflows that we like to use in business, which are awesome, focus on behaviors like tool use, planning, autonomy, and complex problem solving. One of the biggest misnomers is raw intelligence is one thing. but you ask it to send an email and it kind of falls apart like a $2 suitcase. So its ability to use tools is a really important feature. So Grok is again on the rise, 4.6 high, and there's a 4.7 in the wings, Nick, waiting to come out. So this is an impressive showing.
Yeah. What I find pretty sad about this is, I don't know if you remember, there was a drop from Thinking Machines, which was Mira Murati's lab, I think the former CTO of OpenAI, before the whole split occurred about a year ago. She dropped Inkling for Thinking Machines, and it only scored 34 on that. And that was supposed to be one of the major drops. Now look at Grok. I mean, Grok's 2.5 times, not 2.5 times, but about 1.5x that. It's better than Qwen 3.8 Max, GPT 5.6 Sol Max, Claude Fable 5 with the fallback, Kimi K3, GPT 5.6 Terra. Just look at like the cemetery of once great models usurped by Elon Musk's pet project, Grok.
I think a model cemetery is exactly what it is, to be honest. And it's almost anything past number 3 is a graveyard.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Give them the kind of that props system.
What do you think of these visuals, Jack? We keep it very high budget on the Stacked podcast.
I think once again the Stacked podcast has done the impossible and gotten better. I didn't think it could happen. I really didn't think it could happen. For those who can't see, what I'm looking at right now is a wonder. Your Mona Lisa what? She's about to get kicked out, and they're going to take a screenshot of what Nick has just drawn. That's
why they got you got to tune in on the YouTube if you really want to get the full Stacked experience.
If you want the full Stacked experience, you need to be on YouTube. But also, we appreciate our Spotify listeners and wherever else we're distributed. I don't know the full details. But the idea with Inkling, though, right, was it wasn't trying to be the smartest. It was supposed to be the best one to fine tune to your own model. And I think they probably realized we're probably not going to win the smarts battle, which is kind of, I think, DeepSeek's camp. And if you kind of make that concession, it's probably a good strategy. So let's not try and let's be smart, but let's go for optimal, like price, pound for pound champ rather than a heavyweight champ.
Yeah. I find it funny how Grok, I think, was like initially trying to do that last gen with 4.5, and now it's like, nah, we're competing with the best. And 4.7 is going to come up pretty soon.
Dude, I can't wait
for what that's going to look like.
Dude, did you hear that Grok also got number 1, I think, on the medical bench?
Ooh, really? That thing? Yeah. Taking medical advice from that unhinged thing? That unbikinis?
I think based is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
For Grok. It's based, the base model in the world. No, yeah, it came number 1. So from a medical point of view, it knows its stuff.
Okay, I got to go pretty quick, but we should touch on ChatGPT having perfect context of your whole life before we do the Q&A. I think we got to solve like a few minutes of that. For those of you guys that don't know, Sam Altman in a recent interview I believe it was a recent interview, said something like ChatGPT, like a future version of it, could have perfect context of your whole life. And that could be within 6 months. It could be there for every conversation you have, every call you have, every message you send, every email that you've ever received. Basically, it's like a perennial 24/7, always on AI assistant that just controls and knows everything about you. I think it's interesting because the bottleneck right now to me seems to be context. I mean, we were just chatting about what we would need to see in order for something to be AGI, right? But to me, I feel like we already have the capability. It's just a matter of consolidating all of the context of your life and then giving it to that thing in order to have it serve you better. And that, I think, is what Sam is thinking about as well. Obviously, Sam takes after me, of course. That's what Sam has finally figured out as well with this perfect context your whole life bit. I'm kind of curious what that would look like.
I think it's a good question. And then I agree. When Sam came to the Start podcast asking for advice on the direction of OpenAI, one of the things that we told him was context is super important. Obviously, after bench and coffee. And a lot of people are getting really skeptical about this, Nick. I've seen a lot of reception online that are very kind of against this idea of having unlimited context. Honestly, I'm for it. I like the idea. I mean, like, so what? It knows what you freaking said in that sales call that sucked. Like, who cares? Like, it's going to help you be more effective and productive. It's like, what are the things you want? And would a super intelligent AI that knew the context and had unlimited intelligence, could it help you be better and reach your goals? It probably could. So I wouldn't mind just doing it. Obviously, all in the context that it's not being fed to some kind of crazy super scraping system. But honestly, I like this idea. And it's kind of what people are building anyway with Hermes Agent and OpenClaw. I know one of your favorite apps in the world, Nick.
Right.
People already want this. They're already trying to build this.
Yeah, very true. Very true. On the Hermes agent front, on the Hermes, what you got any videos planned for us? You
For
cooking
Hermes
anything?
agent, dude.
Yeah.
I don't have any Hermes agent videos planned, man. I think with Hermes agent, I have said all that can possibly be said about Hermes agent. I was telling Nick off the call, guys, I've laid down my bag for Hermes agent. I handed in my Hermes issued firearm, my Hermes issued logo, just because I've covered it and I've got the masterclass with everything on it. So until something big and breaking comes out, then we'll come back to it. But right now, dude, we need to lock on these comments now because we've got like a minute or two, right? And then we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming soon. But
yeah,
in yesterday's video, there was a big debate between sort the volume out. Jack my tan, we will. In yesterday's video, there's a big debate between 5.6 Sol and Fable 5 and how it seems like people are using both for different tasks. I'm interested for a general coding base. How does a person switch between each one?
Yeah, it's a great question. You just need to accommodate two different frameworks, the Claude.md framework, the Claude skills framework, and the agents.md framework, or the agent skills framework. So what you need to do is you basically just need to duplicate your Claude.md and then just call the file agents.md instead. You need to duplicate your Claude skills folder, but you need to put it in an agents skills folder. As long as you have that interoperability, you can do more or less whatever you want. Just drop the folder into a different agent and it'll work just fine.
And then you can also call OpenAI inside Claude as well, which is tasty.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Love the show. Are you guys keeping tabs on Lovable? Oh, scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, where are we right here?
Meteoric rise with a $16 billion valuation. Would love to hear your take on them. Note to commenters, if you listen to this pod and complain about production value, you should probably just
No, it's a fine complaint. For those of you guys that don't know, I was flying for like 12 hours yesterday. So I uploaded this while I was sprinting through to my gate with my laptop half open. And I did not have time to do the audio stabilization, unfortunately.
And did you know that the 17 will keep you accountable, will keep us accountable for that, Nick. So they will let us know in the comments if this audio is not up to scratch. We appreciate that, guys. Thoughts on Lovable?
Yeah, Lovable it's interesting.
I think we could vibe code a Lovable in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like
we could vibe code a Lovable, but could the average person vibe code a Lovable?
The Stack podcast could vibe code anything, guys.
Yeah.
There is nothing we cannot vibe code. Don't ever forget that. But yeah, very, very impressive. They've made it kind of accessible to all. We're going to dive deep on that on tomorrow's episode because there's some interesting things to say on that. But in the meantime, we'll leave you with the promise and Mythos too. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you next one.
Have a mythical day. See ya. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.